Welcome to the TGI Friday and Lunar Partial Eclipse special episode of the Fun Astrology Podcast. I don't know that it's special, but it is special with what's going on in the sky. Thomas Miller, thank you so much for joining us here and stopping by. Welcome back to Lord Jupiter. The door is open, the birds are chirping, there might be a leaf blower going in the background, but here we are in the campground in St. Augustine, Florida. The whole story behind that has been in our Facebook group, but basically I'm down here at the instruction of a horary chart that was released this morning on the Old Soul, New Soul Astrology Podcast. So you wonder, why in the world am I down here? Catch the two episodes. There's a part 1 and then a tag part 2, and you'll get the whole picture of what I'm doing down here right now. And if you're not in our Facebook group, we'd love to have you in there. It's the Subconscious Mind Mastery and Fun Astrology Podcast Listeners group in Facebook. It's private. We do ask that you at least announce yourself as a podcast listener. There are 4 questions that address that, and then come on in. No exact aspects in the sky today, Friday. The moon tomorrow morning moves into Taurus, setting up the eclipse. That happens at 7:45 in the morning, depending on where you are. I'm in Eastern time. That's what that is. And then at 12 o'clock noon, Mars opposes Jupiter. That's Mars in Scorpio, Jupiter in Taurus. And that's exactly the tension in this chart around this eclipse. Jupiter and Uranus of sudden surprises in Taurus, and also now the moon opposing the Sun, Mercury, and Mars in Scorpio, and right next to that, the South Node. And also, when we talked about this in the episode that you're going to hear on Old Soul, New Soul, Saturn is in Pisces at 0 degrees, which is throwing a trine to all of that Scorpio energy. So this is a loaded spring for sure. And since a horary question and answer led to my being here in Florida, there was something else that I was contemplating releasing here over the weekend, because my birthday is Monday and the eclipse is Saturday, and I cast a horary chart before recording this, and it was an absolute no, based on that Scorpio-Taurus opposition, because the 2 planets that were affecting the question were Mercury and Jupiter, opposite each other. Resounding no. Should I launch? No. So, we won't be talking about it right now. But here is something that we can talk about, and if you're in our Facebook group, you saw this posted yesterday. We have a wonderful young lady in there. Sarah Wakeman has done so much to bless me over the last, goodness sakes, probably almost 5 years that we've been doing the Facebook group together, and she is our CEO. She's our Chief Engagement Officer. She puts a post up there that says, "Show us your leaves, fall colors," right? And 100 people respond to the post. I put a post in there about the pontifications of the meaning of life, and nobody responded. That's not true. That's not true. But it's been fun to watch how Sarah just has the magic touch about engagement, and she knows that she has a natural gift with that. Well, she recently changed jobs to a little new business, a new local business in the Kansas City area, called Karma Community Market. It's in Blue Spring, downtown. If you live in Kansas City, here is something you could do on Eclipse Day that would just be golden. It's a new business. It's a tough economy. We know that. And part of what I was going to release was how we're going to say, no, it's not a tough economy, but obviously the universe has its own plan. But if you live in the Kansas City area, the eclipse is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern. So that would be 3:25 your time. If you were so inclined to go do some shopping at Karma Community Market, that would be absolutely amazing. You know, this is as high of a timeline conscious business as I can imagine. And they have a website, karmacommunitymarket.com. Over on the right is a shop tab. And if you can't make it in person, maybe do a little eclipse shopping with them. Because you know what? Rather than these neon box stores on every corner just cluttering the place up, here is somebody trying to really make a go of a conscious business. If we could support them, how cool is that? Especially on this eclipse day. Would you join me in placing some kind of an order? That would just be amazing. And I'll tell you why this is even more emphasized by this eclipse is because, at least where I'm set up in North Carolina, and that's where I have my chart set, it's a second 8th house eclipse. So the moon is in the second house. That's our money. The sun is in the 8th house with Mercury and Mars. That's other people's money. And it is. There's a nice little transfer of the moon sitting right next to Jupiter in the money sign of Taurus, saying, outflow it. Let the money flow. I think that would be a great way to catch some of this eclipse energy. And as you release it with, I am in money flow, like Taurus is the money sign and Jupiter and the moon are in there. So whatever I put out is going to come back to me in droves, in buckets, in avalanches. Can you just feel the energy of that? And what you're doing is sending it over there into the 8th house where the sun, Mercury, and Mars are, to say peace to the world, because that's where the conflict is right now, right? So you are saying, I am taking the symbolism represented by the 2nd house of Taurus, money, and sending it out into the world, in essence, causing peace. And that's your intention. So you send it to some place that is causing high consciousness peace in the world. And if you're a member of our Facebook group, Sarah put a video in there telling a story about how she manifested a news crew locally to come do a story on their little business, on their little shop. That's the kind of thing that's happening, the buzz around this karma community market. I'll tell you, I love it when you just see authentic people trying to make a go of high timeline living. We got to jump on it, you guys. We've got to jump on it. These kinds of businesses have to stay in business so that they can have an impact on the world. Here we have another leaf blower in the background. Everybody comes out and cleans up their little campsites. You know, you have a dozen of them go off before about 10:30. But anyway, that's, I think, enough for here. We'll have Ray Merriman tomorrow, and then we'll be back on Monday with a full week ahead in the post-eclipse podcasts next week. Now, on the way out, I had a great listener question, and it's about what we do on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern.
You say it's a private Facebook group. What if one does not have a Facebook account? Yeah, I know. I'm one of the few. I just don't trust Mark Zuckerberg with my data. So if there's another way to join that Sunday evening group, if you could let us know, that would be wonderful.
And I so appreciate your interest in it. And the short answer is come over to the YouTube channel, Fun Astrology, and it's live in there simulcast. What we do is on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, take about an hour, and we get together. It's become a family. I mean, people know each other and they chat about various things going on, and we put the chats up. It's not a video chat. It's just a text chat. You just type it in, but it works and flows really well. And then for about half of the time, we basically meditate in a way to send loving, healing energy into the world. And that's the purpose of it. We've been doing it for over 2 years now, and it's still going strong. So if you want to contribute to something to help change the world, here is an energetic way to do it with a like-minded group of people. Now, addressing the Mark Zuckerberg issue right before the eclipse, I agree with you, and I've been on Facebook since I think it was 2009. But what we mistakenly believe is that our data somehow is private. Do you have a phone? Then everybody has your data. And that's the bottom line. Tim Cook has it at Apple. The Google boys have it over there. Bill Gates and his minions have it at Microsoft. I was talking to somebody the other day whose late husband ran a big medical software industry. He said he's got a one-button connection to everything in all the major hospitals. That's the reality. And I know we have our preferences and this and that, but the thing about the Facebook group is it is private, and some people actually set a Facebook account up just to be in that group. Now, if you do that, you have to interact, because if you don't, Facebook will purge that account as inactive if you're just an observer. But if you want, come on in, because it is such a wonderful community of people that engage. Now, that's where the action happens, is in that Facebook group. So it's just a matter of doing what you are comfortable with. But that's my little thought about where we are with technology. And that line of invisibility is just going to keep disappearing and disappearing. Did somebody tell me the other day that Pluto is going to be moving into Aquarius soon? Oh boy. You guys have a great weekend. I love you. Bye-bye.